Hello everyone, it's Glenda and welcome to my channel Creative Grandma. It's Stitch of the Week time, and this week's stitch I have a gorgeous, beautiful textured stitch. It's very easy to do. It's a 2-row repeat and it is called the crossed ripple stitch. I'm just going to show you one of my samples here, and then I'll swing the camera down and get really up close on the samples so you can really see how beautiful this stitch pattern really is. So I just want to give a special thank you to all my viewers and subscribers who come back time and time again, who have made Stitch of the Week such a popular series on my channel. So thank you everyone for coming back and supporting my efforts to bring you great content for Stitch of the Week. I also want to give a special thank you to my new patrons of my channel, and if you would like to learn more about becoming a patron of my channel, you can click that link below this video and get more information. It'll take you right to the Patreon website and it'll give you all the details. So a special thank you goes to Dolores Tiffany, Patty Macy, Judith Hayes, Andrea Ennis, I hope I pronounced that correctly, and Shy Shepherd, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, it's S-H-I-Y, Laura Ann Courtney, and Rosalind Burney. So thank you so much. And then a special thank you goes to a PayPal donor of Judith Sanders. So thank you everyone for your wonderful support of my channel. So let's get started of Stitch of the Week. This is number 53 and it's called the Crossed Ripple Stitch. So here is the first sample. Again, this is Stitch of the Week and this is pattern number 53. And it's called the Crossed Ripple Stitch. This is where we're doing 1 row of single crochet across, and then we're coming back and doing a crossed double crochet where you're taking just 1/2 of that cross down 2 rows below and you're creating this textured stitch pattern. Very simple 2-row repeat. So my first sample, I just used a 4 worsted weight yarn and I used white, and then I used a multicolor. Now this multicolor here is the Red Heart Super Saver pulling yarn, but I just use it as a multicolor because I love those bright colors. And this is color number 8536 Papaya Pulling, and look how bright and colorful those colors are made using this yarn. So that's my first sample, and this is changing colors every 2 rows. So my second sample is made using bright white. Again, this is just a number 4 worsted weight yarn. I used a size I9 5.5 millimeter hook. It just creates a beautiful texture. So if you look, you can see how that texture just comes up a little bit and just gives it a really elegant, classy look if you're looking for a stitch pattern that it's not real heavy, it's not real light, it's just one of those in-between patterns that just has a lot of style to it. My third sample I made using a multicolor. Now you can see the texture, but you can't see the pattern quite as nice using a multicolor because of all the colors make it a little busy, but it's still a gorgeous pattern for a baby blanket, a sweater, just about anything you want to use it for. And this sample was made with A.C. Moore's Studio Classic by Nicole. Now this is their house brand, and this is color number SS3024-21, and it's called Baby Mix. So you can see how that works up. So this is a great way to see how some of these yarns work up when I do these samples. So those are the 3 samples today. So for today's sample, I'm going to be using the Red Heart Super Saver in this beautiful Aruba Sea. This is color number 505. I'm using a size I9 5.5 millimeter hook. I already have my yarn attached to my hook, and for today's sample, we're going to chain 15. You're going to yarn over, pull through, that's 1, 2, 3, continue until you have a chain with 15 chains, and I'll be back and we'll start row 1. So I have my chain 15 made, And now we're going to start row 1. Now row 1 will be the wrong side of your work, and the pattern will be created on the even side rows. So row 2 will be the right side of the work. So we're going to start and do a simple single crochet row. You're going to skip that first chain, insert into the second chain from hook, work a single crochet. Insert into the next chain, work a single crochet. And you're going to continue working one single crochet in each chain across to the end. And I'll meet you at the end of row 1. I'm over at the end of row 1, and you should start with a single crochet into the second chain from hook and then one single crochet in each chain across to the end. You should have a total of 14 single crochet at the end of row 1. So if your chain is larger, you should have one stitch left than what your original chain was. So let's get started on row 2. We're going to begin row 2 and we're going to chain 1. You're going to turn your work, you're going to yarn over, you're going to skip that chain 1, you're going to insert into the top of that first single crochet stitch and work a half double crochet. Now we're going to start our repeat. If you need help, click back on the video. You're going to work from where I say this is the start of the repeat until I say this is the end of the repeat, and you're going to do that across to within the last stitch. So let's begin. You're going to yarn over, you're going to skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. You're going to chain 1, you're going to yarn over, you're going to work backwards, you're going to count over 1, 2, you're going to go into that first single crochet that you skipped of the 2, insert from front to back, work a double crochet. Your cross double crochet is made. Now when you're working this pattern, you're skipping 2 stitches. So you have to make sure you remember that the first double crochet of that cross double crochet stitch is already worked in this stitch. So if you're going to make any mistakes, this is where you're going to make it in this row when you're counting those stitches. So if you look down and go 1, 2, that is wrong because you have a stitch already worked in this stitch. So you're going to start the repeat again. You're going to yarn over, you're going to skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. You're going to chain 1, you're going to yarn over, you're going to count back 1, 2, you're going to insert into that first single crochet of those 2 skip stitches, insert from front to back, work a double crochet. Your cross double crochet stitch is made. So I'm going to work this row right with you. So let's begin the repeat again. Yarn over, skip 2 stitches, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. Chain 1, yarn over, count back 2 stitches, 1, 2, you're going into the first single crochet of those 2 skip stitches, insert from front to back in that first stitch, work a double crochet. Again, your cross double crochet is made. We have 1 to go. You're going to yarn over, you're going to skip the next 2 stitches, insert into that next stitch, work a double crochet. Chain 1, yarn over, count back 2 stitches, 1, 2, insert into the first single crochet of those 2 skipped stitches, work a double crochet. and your cross double crochet is made. And that is the end of the repeat. So you're going to continue that across your work if you have a longer sample until you get to your last stitch. So we're over to our last stitch, and we're going to end the row with a half double crochet into this last stitch. Yarn over the hook, insert into that ending stitch, work a half double crochet. So with this pattern, we're starting with our half double crochet and we're ending with our half double crochet. So now we're going to start row 3, which is a very easy row. We're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn your work. You're going to skip that beginning chain 1. You're going to insert into the top of that first stitch and you're going to work a single crochet. You're going to single crochet into that next double crochet. You're going to pull your work, find that next chain 1 space, which is the center of your cross double crochet. You're going to insert right into that chain 1 space, work a single crochet. So what you're doing is you're working 1 single crochet in each stitch and each chain 1 space across your row. Insert into that next stitch, work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet. Now you're going to see you're here at your chain 1 space in the center of that cross double crochet stitch. Insert right into the chain 1 space, work a single crochet. Continue working 1 single crochet in each stitch and each chain 1 space. Make sure you get right in that chain 1 space, work that across. I'll meet you at the end of row 3. I'm over at the end of row 3. I have 1 stitch to go. So I always like to show how to end the row. I just worked my last single crochet in that last double crochet of that ending cross double crochet stitch, and then you have your ending half double crochet and you're turning chain 1. So what you're going to do is just insert into the top of that ending half double crochet, work a single crochet. You skip the chain 1 space because that does not count as a stitch. That's just your turning chain. So row 3 is finished, and now we're going to start row 4, which starts the actual texture of the pattern. So let's begin. You're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn your work. We're going to skip this chain 1 space and we're going to work a half double crochet into that first single crochet stitch. Yarn over, skip that chain 1 space, insert into the first single crochet, work your half double crochet. Now we're ready to start our repeat. So this repeat will be made similar to this row, only we're coming down and we're working the second half of our cross double, and we're going to come down into this stitch and we're going to work a front post double crochet, which all that is a double crochet, and you're wrapping it around the post of this first double crochet of the cross double crochet 2 rows below. I'm going to walk you step by step through it, so very easy to do. So let's begin the repeat. We're going to yarn over. You're going to skip the next 2 single crochet, 1, 2, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. You're going to chain 1. You're going to yarn over. You're going to come back 1, 2 stitches. You're going to drop down 2 rows below, 1, 2, insert your hook from front to back and back to front around the post of the first double crochet of that cross double crochet 2 rows below. Then you're just going to work a double crochet. Yarn over, pull underneath the post of that stitch and pull up, and you want to make sure you pull up a long loop. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And this is what's going to create the texture of that cross double crochet stitch. And you're only going into the first stitch when you're working this pattern. This second stitch, we do not work into that stitch, only the first stitch. So that is the end of the repeat. So let's begin again. You're going to yarn over. You're going to skip the next 2 stitches of the current row. 1, 2, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. You're going to chain 1. You're going to yarn over. You're going to count back 2 stitches. 1, 2. You're going to drop down 2 rows. 1, 2. Insert your hook from front to back and back to front, and you can see that cross double crochet. So you're going into that first stitch and come back underneath. So you're going underneath the post, and then you're going to work your double crochet. Yarn over, pull underneath the post of that stitch, and then pull up a long loop. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. That is the end of the repeat. So let's do it again. You're going to yarn over, you're going to skip the next 2 single crochet, insert into the next stitch, work a double crochet. You're going to chain 1, you're going to yarn over, you're going to count back 2 stitches, 1, 2, you're going to drop down 2 rows below, 1, 2, insert your hook from front to back and back to front, right underneath the post of that first double crochet of that cross double crochet 2 rows below. Yarn over, pull underneath and around the post of that stitch, and then you're going to pull up a long loop. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. And this is classified as a front post double crochet, so very easy to work. We have one more repeat to go, so let's do it together. You're going to yarn over, skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, insert into that next stitch, work a double crochet. You're going to chain 1. You're going to yarn over, count back 2 stitches, 1, 2, drop down 2 rows below, 1, 2, insert your hook from front to back and back to front. Now sometimes you might have to stick your finger in there to pull that cross double crochet apart, but you're going underneath and around the post of that first double crochet stitch of that cross double crochet. Work a double crochet. Yarn over, pull underneath the post of that stitch, and pull up a long loop. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. And that is the end of the repeat. So when you get to the end of what you're working on, you should have 1 stitch remaining. We're going to end the row by working a half double crochet into this ending stitch. Yarn over, insert into the last stitch of the row, work a half double crochet. And you can see how your texture is forming. Just a very beautiful stitch pattern. So now we're going to work row 5. Row 5 again is a very simple row. You're going to chain 1. You're going to turn your work. You're going to skip the beginning chain 1, insert into the first stitch, work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet. Now you're going to find your chain 1 space right in the center of that cross stitch. You're going to insert your hook into underneath the chain 1 space, work a single crochet. So for this row, you're going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch and each chain 1 space across. Insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet. Insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet. Insert into the next chain 1 space, work a single crochet. Continue and work 1 single crochet in each stitch and each chain 1 space across to the end of the row, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at the end of row 5, I single crocheted in each stitch and each chain one space across, and you end with a single crochet in your ending stitch. Rows 1 through 3 are your base rows, which start the pattern, and then rows 4 and 5 will be your repeat rows. So if you need more help learning this stitch pattern, just click back on the video and repeat rows 4 through 5 for your pattern until you get to the length you want. Very wonderful pattern. Let me show you those stitch samples again. Here is my first stitch sample. Now with this stitch sample, I change colors every 2 rows. Now I fastened off my yarn, but you can carry the yarn up the side of your work. So when you're changing colors every 2 rows, your yarn will come back to the right hand side of your work, and then you can just carry that yarn right up the side of your work. If you change colors every 2 rows, then you can carry the yarn up the side. So very beautiful stitch pattern when you alternate those colors every 2 rows. And then this is the multicolored sample. Very beautiful pattern if you want a little texture to your afghan. And then I have the basic white, just very beautiful stitch pattern. So those were my 3 samples. And again, this is stitch pattern number 53. It's the crossed ripple stitch. I'll have the link in the description box underneath the video. You can click that link. It will take you right to our website, to the Stitch of the Week page. You scroll down that page, find whatever stitch you want. You can print it out immediately. They're all free, immediate downloads of any of our Stitch of the Week patterns. It's just a great way to build up your stitch library. And I try to tell everyone, get yourself a little notebook or a binder. Get those sheet protectors. Print those patterns out. Get your own little library stitch book handy, so when you want to find a stitch pattern, you can just open that book and find whichever stitch pattern you want to try. Great way to build up those patterns. Thank you everyone for stopping by and crocheting with me today, and until next time, happy crocheting!